All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving deep today into the world of arts and culture marketing.
Ooh, arts and culture marketing.
Yeah, we've got this fascinating document here written by, a real expert, apparently.
Yeah.
And we're going to unpack some of the cool stuff in it.
Okay, yeah, sounds interesting.
Yeah, this whole world is about way more than just, selling tickets. And it's got this really cool blend of, old school methods and new technology.
No, that makes sense.
So let's get into it. This expert, right off the bat, talks about this delicate dance between tradition and innovation.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I think for a lot of people, when they think about arts and culture, they think about tradition.
Right.
Like, these art forms have been around for centuries. But the way we experience art, the way we consume it, the way we even think about it, it's all changing.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have to find a way to honor that tradition
Yeah.
while also embracing these new tools and approaches.
Totally. It's like, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but you also don't want to be stuck in the past.
Right. And the document, it even uses this phrase about curating a gallery of experiences. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, what does that even look like in the real world?
Well, I think a good example of that is, have you ever seen those immersive Van Gogh exhibits?
Oh, yeah. Those are incredible.
Where they use projection technology to really bring his paintings to life.
Right.
And you're not just looking at a painting on a wall, you're walking through it, you're surrounded by it.
Yeah. It's a whole experience.
And I think that's a great example of how you can take something traditional, like Van Gogh's paintings, and make it relevant and engaging for a modern audience.
Right. Because people don't always want to just passively stand there and look at stuff.
Exactly. People crave experiences. They want to be moved. They want to feel something. And that's what those immersive exhibits do so well.
And that kind of leads to the next point that really jumped out at me, which is this whole idea that arts and culture marketing is more about experiences and emotions than it is about just selling a product.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. You're not selling a car. You're not selling a pair of shoes.
You're selling a feeling, an idea.
Exactly.
And this document, it says it beautifully. It says, our strategies are not just about selling tickets or promoting events. They are about building connections, fostering a sense of community, and nurturing a love for creativity.
That's powerful.
Do you have an example that comes to mind when you hear that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I went to, it was a small jazz club a few months back. And it wasn't just about the music. The musicians, they were talking to the audience, telling stories about the songs, about the history of jazz.
Well, that's cool.
It felt like this intimate conversation, this shared experience between the artists and the audience. And that's something you just don't get with, a recorded album.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, too, how this document talks about using both traditional and digital strategies.
Right.
On the one hand, you've got things like print media, radio ads, brochures, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you've got social media, email marketing, online advertising. How do you make sure they're all working together?
Well, I think the key is understanding your audience and then meeting them where they are.
Right.
If you're trying to reach an older demographic who might be more traditional arts patrons, maybe print media or radio is the way to go.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to reach a younger audience,
Social media,
all the way, you got to be on Instagram, TikTok, all of it.
Yeah. And it's cool to see how arts organizations are really embracing those platforms. Giving behind-the-scenes peeks,
Totally.
interviewing artists, even doing things like those dance challenges.
Oh, yeah. Those are fun.
And it's a totally different way of connecting with people.
Right. It's about being accessible, being relatable. It's about showing that the arts are not this stuffy, intimidating thing. It's for everyone.
And it's fun. Okay, let's talk about measuring success. Because in the arts world, it's not always just about the bottom line.
No, definitely not. It's about so much more than just ticket sales or how much money you're making.
So what are some of the ways that organizations measure success? Because this document mentions these non-financial indicators.
Yeah, I think it's about looking at things like audience engagement, social media buzz, community impact. Are people talking about your event? Are they sharing their experiences online? Are they coming back for more?
Right.
And are you making a difference in the community? Are you inspiring people? Are you fostering creativity? Those are all signs of success.
For example, I know some organizations partner with local schools or community centers.
Yeah.
To offer workshops or classes or even just free performances. And that's not something you can necessarily quantify in dollars and cents,
Yeah.
but it's still incredibly valuable.
Totally, totally. And it gets back to that idea of building connections, fostering community, and nurturing that love for creativity.
Absolutely. Speaking of nurturing a love for creativity, this document talks about storytelling being at the heart of arts and culture marketing. And it makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because you're not just selling a ticket to a show, you're selling an experience. You're selling a story.
Yeah. I'm thinking about, like, even Disney. They're masters at storytelling.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They don't just sell you a theme park ticket, they sell you an entire world. They build a narrative around everything, from the rides to the characters to the merchandise.
Exactly. And I think arts organizations can learn a lot from that. It's about creating that immersive experience, drawing people in, making them feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves.
Before we wrap up, let's talk about the elephant in the room,
Hmm.
challenges.
Right.
Because this field definitely has its share. Limited budgets, reaching niche audiences, competition from other entertainment options. Like, how do arts organizations overcome these hurdles?
Well, it takes a lot of resourcefulness for sure. Building partnerships, engaging with the community, being creative with your marketing,
I was just to say, yeah.
thinking outside the box.
It's about finding ways to do more with less.
Exactly. And this document actually talks about that specifically. It emphasizes the importance of being strategic, focusing on your core audience, and making the most of the resources you have.
Yeah. And then last but not least, I'm curious to get your take on the future of arts and culture marketing. With all the technological advancements happening, like VR, AR, all that stuff. Like, what do you see coming down the pipeline?
Well, I think the possibilities are endless, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine attending a virtual reality performance where you're not just watching the show, you're actually immersed in it, you're on stage with the performers, you're feeling the energy of the crowd. Or what about using augmented reality to interact with artwork in a museum? Like holding up your phone and seeing extra layers of information, or even seeing the artist's process come to life.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I think technology has the potential to really revolutionize the way we experience art.
Right. And make it even more accessible to people who might not otherwise have the opportunity to engage with it.
Right, exactly. It can break down barriers and create a more inclusive and engaging art world. But I think the key is to use technology thoughtfully, right? It shouldn't be about replacing the human connection, the emotional impact of art. It should be about enhancing it.
Totally. So to everyone listening, the next time you see an ad for a play or a concert or a museum exhibit, take a moment to think about the strategy behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the story they're trying to tell, the emotions they're trying to evoke, and appreciate the fact that there's a whole team of creative people working hard to make sure that art continues to thrive in our world.
It's an exciting field, always evolving, so stay curious, keep exploring, and support the arts.
And we will see you next time for another Deep Dive.